us a story that you had of an adventure that you had with Uncle Scrooge?
Oh, gosh, Donald. Yeah, your Uncle Scrooge, he's the richest duck in the world. Bizarre Brain Comics. Yep. This is Bizarre Brain Comics. No role playing this time because I don't have anything that goes with ducks. And today, as you might have guessed, we'll talk a little bit about Uncle Scrooge. Uncle Scrooge. And I'll talk about, it's one story, but it's in two issues. Uncle Scrooge 261 and 262. I'm not going to be real detailed in the story because I want to talk mostly about the creators. And these, let's see if I can see it here. Yeah, these issues were Walt Disney's Uncle Scrooge from December of 1991. Oh, crap. And here you go. There's two issues right here. You can see them. Good artwork. Now, I didn't know until I was doing research for this. I didn't notice this. Now, they have this story is a return to Xanadu. And I noticed I liked the cover to part one, cover to part two better than I liked the cover to part one. And then I looked in the credits, and then I realized that part two was drawn by Don Rosa, who is the writer and artist for this story. And I don't know who did the first one. And that alone tells me why I like it better. I like Don Rosa, as you'll find out. Now, Walt Disney's Uncle Scrooge is Scrooge McDuck, the richest duck in the world. And he was, Uncle Scrooge was actually first seen in the Walt Disney's movie of Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol. I'm not even sure if that's the correct name of it, correct title of it or not. And of course, as Ebenezer Scrooge. And then he was eventually rolled over into, renamed Scrooge McDuck, and rolled over into the regular comic characters. And as we saw at the beginning there, DuckTales. He was these comics, Uncle Scrooge stories, became the inspiration for both the original and of course, then the new version of DuckTales. And Uncle, as I said, and of course, Uncle Scrooge is a spinoff from Donald Duck stories, and he first appeared in Four Color Comics 386 from March 1952. It was written and drawn primarily by Carl Barks in the early decades. He first, as I said, his first appearance was in the Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol as Ebenezer Scrooge, and he and other Disney characters have been published through a host of publishers: Western, Dell, Gold Key, Gladstone, etc. And of course, Uncle Scrooge had exotic adventures all around the world, and maybe that's why the basis of DuckTales. Now, Carl Barks, the primary artist and writer from Uncle Scrooge. He was born in 1901, and he lived to be 99 years old and passed away in 2000. He was a cartoonist, writer, and painter, and of course best known for his work on Disney comics, and was the first writer for Donald Duck stories. He created Uncle Scrooge McDuck as a specific character for the comics. At that time, Disney didn't allow artists and writers to get credits in the books. Like it's common now in more recent decades to find out, give you the whole deal, talking about telling you who the penciler is, and the inker, the writer, the colorists, as well as the editors. But most publishers didn't do that early on, and Disney didn't do that, I think, until the mid '80s. The fans just knew Carl Barks as the good duck artist, and he created the city of Duckburg and its inhabitants, and the nephews Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and Duckburg was located in the fictitious state of Calisota, and the Barks duck adventures always took place in the 50s. Now, the other writers, especially in more recent decades, commonly put in the present, whatever present that happens to be in. But Barks, of course, he started in the 50s, and he just kind of kept him there. And then Don Rosa, the artist and writer for this story we're going to talk about, he also always kept the stories in the 1950s, unless it was told in flashback, like some of them were. So some of them were of an earlier time. Okay, and Don Rosa, he's actually Kino Don Hugo Rosa. That's a mouthful. He's a cartoonist and writer known for doing Disney comics, primarily Uncle Scrooge. He also has done some Donald Duck stories. But in 1969, while in college, he won a Best Political Cartoonist. He was his best political cartoonist in the nation. But editorial stuff wasn't his thing. He didn't go for that. But that's what he was known for when he was in college. And his first published comic work was his own creation, the Pert Willoughby Papers. And I've got somewhere, I wish I knew where, one of the reprints of the Pert Willoughby Papers. And it's good. And that was humans, not ducks. And that was for the college newspaper, the Kentucky Colonel. He was at the University of Kentucky, I think is what they said. He made it into an adventure comedy, and he once said it was his version of the Uncle Scrooge stories. And of course, he was a big fan of Carl Barks' artwork. And by occupation, he worked in a tile and terrazzo company started by his grandfather. And while contributing to various fanzines, then he did a weekly strip for a local newspaper, which didn't even pay enough for the time that he invested in it. But it's something he did for love. In the mid-'80s, when Gladstone Publishing started publishing Disney characters in America again for the first time in years, he got work there doing the duck stories. And he did a lot of Uncle Scrooge stories that were sequels to some of the Carl Barks stories, like this. This one, The Return to Xanadu, is a sequel um, to a Carl Barks story. And he even did a long series which was compiled into a graphic novel, which was The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. It's a masterpiece. He did it in individual issues, and like I said, and then they were compiled into a paperback. And it was just basically a biography of the character, and a lot of the background was drawn from references in the Carl Barks stories to Scrooge's past, and that's where he got that. And Rosa, he retired from artwork due to severe vision problems in 2008. Yeah, you can see here. You can see a little bit more of them later. Here's one he did of Donald Duck stories. Beautiful cover. A whole, and most of these I have here are from the Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. He did meticulous historical research for the periods, locations, to get the visuals correct, the clothing of the period and the locations, and you name it. He could probably have a have a degree in history just from the research that he did. Okay, let's go take a look at Don Rosa's Uncle Scrooge Return to Xanadu by Don Rosa. Okay, here we are. Uncle Scrooge Return to Xanadu by Don Rosa. Let me get that out of my hand. Before we start talking about that, I want to show you this. It's just a sample of the Carl Barks work. This is a reprint. This was just a single page gag here. Uncle Scrooge, but no credits on here. They told us that in the beginning. Okay, this is Uncle Scrooge. Here's this cruise ship coming to some island. It says, "Look at those poor native boys risk their." Got to do that right. Look at those poor native boys risk their lives to die for pennies. They might get bitten by a shark or stung by a stingray. They might even get the bends all for a penny. Then you see this here. Wow! Hey, what's the idea? You preached about those native boys. I can't do Donald Duck. You preached about the native boys diving for pennies. Then you do the same thing. Pennies, yes. But some guy threw in a dime. Punchline. But you can see, except for the title here, which would normally be a panel. It would normally be two panels here. So as the general page layout for all these stories are an 8 panel page layout in various configurations, as opposed to most mainstream comics generally do 6 panel page layout with some variations, and of course, real nice clean artwork. Look at that expression there. But Carl Barks was good. I started reading Uncle Scrooge comics when I was a kid. Got some from Gold Key, and I liked them. I personally liked the Disney comics stories better than the stories of the Warner Brother characters like Bugs Bunny and those. Although I preferred the Warner Brothers animated shorts I liked those more than the Disney animated shorts, but I liked the comics better. And I think it's primarily because of Uncle Scrooge and probably Karl Barks writing. Now let's get back here. Here we go. See, here's the same page layout with one large splash panel. Now, Don Rosa, he's great. Now he has all this great detail. I don't know if you can see it all, like texture in the desk back here, all the money, and then they often have little sight gags in the background, like pin return for 5 cents, no bill collectors, and then the intricate detail. You don't see it as much here, but we'll see it in a little bit later. So here's Uncle Scrooge, and he's with the boys. There's Donald, and Huey, Dewey, and Louie. I can never tell which is which. And he's reminiscing about whatever this happens to be. And it's the crown of Genghis Khan, but you don't see the details of it yet. And here they are. They're in Scrooge's money bin. And Scrooge says, yeah, reminds him this. He got it here. Look at that hand. Look at that Don Rosa hand. A little too close. It's not focusing, but that's a character. That is a really nice hand. That's all I can say about that. And that's one of the ways I can tell it's Don Rosa. But he's just some beautiful inking work all around. Beautiful all around work. So he's showing. Oh yeah, got it here. It was on an adventure. They were together, and he was just kind of rehashing how he got it. He had a yak farm in Tibet, or in Nepal, I guess. And I said, the crown, the crown was lost from my caravan in Hindu Kush, but I recovered it. Oh, I can do a better Scottish accent than that. See if there's anything about that crown in our Junior Woodchuck manual. So there's the kids. Here's a really nice panel here. See all the characters? It gives you all the information, but the nice detail in that panel. It says, Kublai even mounted the treasure of the Mongol Empire there for safekeeping. So he put that got Scrooge's attention. Talk about treasure. Yeah, his greed is coming out. So now they're going to go back. And here's another characteristic Don Rosa panel. Sweeping vastness. Gives you all the information, but just the beautiful work. Intricate details on that, even though it's small. Even small, right here. I don't know if you can see the intricate details in these structures clear in the background. There's McDuck's Yaks under new ownership. We sell yaks with no yakety yak. He's the guy who he sold the yak farm to for the crown. And I'll show him the crown. That should jog his memory. And as he's pointing north towards the mountain, that's where trying to find out where he found it. There you can get a better view. Actually, get a better view of the crown. So they're going and they're going. Boy, they look cold. They look miserable. Going through all that. And they find the signposts. Eureka, there's the cave between those ice pillars. Come on. He says, those aren't ice pillars, Uncle Donald, or Uncle Scrooge. They're ancient Tibetan, I guess it's pronounced Chortens. They're trail markers. So they know that goes into the cave, and he finds the recess that the crown had been in. Uncle Donald leans against the ice wall, and it collapses. Ooh, Beauty and the Beast. Go through, find some more of those markers and a pathway next to a river, and they follow that and follow that. They go 2 or 3 days along that path. They're camping. They're running low on food, and they keep saying how some of this is familiar. Then they talk about Xanadu. Let's see here. In the 15th century, Samuel Purchas wrote of Xanadu in his travel diaries, books that fascinated Coleridge. So you won the merit badge. In the poem, in our Junior Woodchuck manual, what do you think? In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree. Now you can bet that's probably word for word. Or Alf, the sacred river, and there was something about the name of the river on that they read on something here, and then it shows what Xanadu is supposed to look like. Then Donald says, "Yeah, this sounds sort of familiar." And they go on, and they find the river. There's this decayed bridge that's gone, and a sluice gate. There's water, the river comes from that sluice gate, and there's a gate over there. Well, they figure out if they shut that sluice gate, the water will go away, and they can just walk across. There, they look inside there, and there's this huge recess in the cave with the water coming down it. So that's what they do. They really struggle. Shut that gate. Boom, boom. And there's a bar on that door. They move the bar. They open the gate, and the gate shuts. The doors shut by them automatically. That's designed so that they shut. And then the bar slams shut on the gate, on the door. They can't get out. So they follow the path. Here they find. Last time, because what did Scrooge say here? He says, "I sure hope this place is all it's cracked up to be. If it isn't, oh, what a jam we're in." "Oh, hush! That's what you said last time." Last time? When was that? I don't know, but there's something familiar about all this. Look, some sort of box. And it's a box, and it says, how could it be familiar? I've never been here before. And they read on the label, "Nerve tonic, property of Scrooge McDuck." Ha! They have been here. And then they get out, go through, and then here's the spectacular view. "Welcome back to Xanadu." Welcome back to Tra-la-la. They didn't know that it was someplace that they had been before. They knew it as Tra-la-la. Now look at this picture. You can see all the details. Of course, it's cartoonish, it's stylized, but it's a beautiful drawing. See all the structures here, intricate detail. It's like he did it large and then shrunk it down and stuck it on there. And there's all the characters. Really nice one. Here you can see the whirlpool. That's where the water went down into that dome. So here they go down. Then they said, "So this is Xanadu, where the treasure of Kubla Khan is kept. And these Tra-la-lalians claim to be so poor and simple." Ha! Well, yeah, they were, but then he reminds them, when they left before, they were hot on their trail. Well, let's get out of here. And then goes, "Do you remember me?" You see the sweat beads on him. See the characterization. Here we go. The clothing. We can see more of this clothing and decor. Those great figures, and he must have done them fairly small, very small. But it's just this one little panel, and he got so much detail into that. Then he whips out the crown. He should have just brought a photograph of the crown. And they go, "Ah!" They're horrified by it. "The sign of the Golden Horde. The crown of the evil Mongol invaders. Seize him! So they're in trouble again. They grab him. They take him to... he's taken to the Choshkambo, the High Lama's top aide. Here, look at that throne he's sitting on. The clothing. Very authentic looking. Even the way that vase is made. So they're not happy that he brought that crown back. The crown is the key to the empire, to the entire treasure of the Mongol Empire. And that led me straight here. And he wants the money, or the gold. It must have taken Rosa a long time. You can see all the intricate little details back here. And this one too. A lot of nice detail. Tiny, tiny figures. But nice detail. Nice linear perspectives. I bet you that hairstyle is kind of authentic too. He's not happy here. So they're welcome to stay there. Look at this. Again, all the little detail. It's beautiful drawings. It's a little ad of some kind there. So he's not happy. And look, work! Well, Scrooge is telling Donald, it might seem nice living somewhere that's pollution-free and where animals don't fear being shot on sight, but, and look, work! If you live here, it'll mean back-breaking labor, building your own home, growing your own food. And shows, yeah, it is. But then Donald all by himself, on his own, while Scrooge just keeps on walking and talking. He helps that farmer fix his wagon. He wonders what happened to Donald. Then this little kid comes up. Master Scrooge, my mother told me of you. She remembers you as a man of greatness. Ah, child, I'm the world's richest duck. Your mother was impressed by all my money. No, Mother said you were good at fixing dollies. Mine broke her little arm. Oh, I see some concern in there. He's changes a little bit. Now, this is the part that I really like. I do recall helping kids fix broken dolls on my last visit. I used to fix my two sisters' dolls back home in Scotland when I was your age. That was long ago. You can see he's kind of forlorn look as he's remembering. Long, long ago. Life was different then, when I was your age back in Scotland. No, not so bad, I guess. I just love this. It's relatively simple, not just because it's a bit of beautiful artistic craftsmanship, but the pathos, the expression, the feeling that you can see in. Who would have thought you could see so much feeling in the face of a cartoon duck? Well, where was I? And he's back. And they stay there. They stay there for a while, and they're just puttering along. Donald's helping build houses. The kids are learning in the library. Again, look at all the little detail. The kids in this library. All these books. Listen here, too. They learn a lot. And Donald discovers he's not such a klutz, except when he gets stressed. And as soon as Scrooge says something to him, he starts goofing up again. And they're talking with about the treasure, the occupation, and they learn that how did Kubla bully his way in here? Couldn't your people simply seal the cave entrance? Alas, no. They lived under a terrible threat. Kubla sealed the entrance himself, and beyond that awful door, he guarded a mechanism of destruction. What was it? It was a device he said would stop the flow of our sacred whirlpool and flood, tra-la-la, to the mountaintops. Now look at those expressions on their faces. Things are in trouble. That's when they realize they had shut that sluice gate, and that was the mechanism that Kublai Khan had left. And then down here you see the whirlpool has stopped and the flooding has begun. And that was when it's to be continued. Part 2. In part 2, and oh my gosh, the cover came off. I'm going to have to tape that back together. Oh, that's a bummer. Beautiful Don Rosa cover. And we're back, and they give a brief recap of the story. Now here's the flooding. Oh, they've got to stop the flooding. They had left the gate shut, and it's funny, they rush back down where they came from, but they can't get the door open. They can peek through it and see that the water's the gate is still down. They had forgotten to reopen the gate, so they got to come up with an idea, and they go to see the llama. And here is the pleasure dome left by Kublai Khan. And look at that nice the texture in those rocks. Seem almost real in a kind of cartoonish way. And there's a magnificent structure here. Boy, that's some fairly complex perspective on that. Real nice drawing. Look at this the outfit he's wearing. Very detailed. So they go talk to the llama. It's in dark, so you can't see it. And then when you see him close up, you can see this weazen old duck, as one would expect a llama to be. He talks about they have no metal. They need some metal to get a way to get that door open. And said, well, there is some metal that was right here sometime before. And goes to where that's stored. Again, look at this. Intricate. Might help if I show you the picture. This intricate panel. See the bats flying. Torch. Look at the intricate designs in that doorway. Beautiful. I mean, that it could have been, I don't know, Robin Hood or something coming down there. It'd look great. They got inside and see what it is. It says, one of the boys says, look, this is more fantastic than we ever dreamed. Of course, then as greed gets the better of him again with Scrooge. And he sees what it is. It's bazillions of bottle caps. So what they needed was steel, and now they got steel. And somehow the bottle caps have something to do with the previous story from when they were there before. And it's still being flooded. They melted down the bottle caps, making them into hacksaw blades, and they concocted a hacksaw. Now they got to get. Flooding's getting higher and higher. And the leader there had brought them a reed boat that they had made because they knew they was going to be needing it. Even again, as small as that is, it's just a reed boat. Look at that. Look at that. All the intricate detail in that boat. And you can bet that's a genuine design for a boat. And I've seen pictures of reed boats like that that the Egyptians had made. And they get to the cave. The cave is almost completely flooded. So Donald's got to go. Yeah. Cowardly, clumsy, goofy Donald. He has to go do it because the kids are too small and Scrooge is too old. So he swims through, finds it until he gets past the flooded area where it's high enough and dry, gets to the door and starts sawing while the water gets higher. And now he's getting flooded out. And here they are. Our crops are underwater. Our homes are floating away. Our livestock is treading water. Yes, and pretty soon things are going to start getting serious. And look, there's a little bill sticking out of the water saying that. Whenever those ducks visit our happy valley, things seem to get very unhappy. Had you noticed? So there's Donald. He's sawing away, sawing away. Pretty soon the water's over his head, and he's on his last blade. Finally, he gets through. The water gushes. Whoosh! And there he is, and he's struggling. He can't get it. He can't get that sluice gate open. He says, "Oh, and it's up to me and me alone to save the kids and Uncle Scrooge and all of Tra-la-la. I can't do it. I must do it. I will do it." And he's staring into the lamp and kind of hypnotizing himself. Woo, woo, woo. Yes. Then his anger comes out. Donald ducked to the rescue, and he manages to get that gate open. The whirlpool is reopened. Everything's getting sucked in, including Scrooge and the boys. Here's a whirlpool. Woo! And they're sucked through that whirlpool they get flushed right down there, and there at the bottom you can see the gate, and they're sucked right through the gate. Well, about to be. And Donald's trying to figure a way to get back to the doorway so he can get back to Tra-la-la. He swings on that light fixture, and it doesn't go far enough. When he comes back, boom, right into the boat as they come through the gate. And then it's just a flooding torrent. It takes them for hours and hours to backtrack. But the initial flood caused the cave in, and they can't get back through the tunnel that they originally came in. And they keep going. Oh, my net worth is flashing before my eyes. I think they're going to die. They're sucked into through another tunnel and switch to a certain public fountain in a village in the Kashmir Highlands of India. "My father, I'm throwing a mani stone into the sacred springs. Make a wish, my son." "I'm wishing I knew why my stone bounces upon the waters. Is it a bad omen?" "Holy cow!" Boom! Yep, they pop up right up into that fountain. Of course, Donald gets separated into someplace else, and of course they're pissed at him. But they get out. He's lost the Genghis Khan crown that he had to begin with, and so they start heading to civilization or something. And here, then we find, but the crown fell overboard before the ducks were swept down the whirlpool, for even now, back in the sunny, if somewhat soggy, valley of Tra-la-la. "Master La, I found this in a pack lying in my rice paddy." Nice detail on that crown. Beautiful crown. All this is beautiful. "The mongrel crown. It is a mystery how those ducks had this evil thing. Our ancestors discarded this and all such remnants of the terrible Kublai Khan. And now, even the hero ducks have been lost due to the power of this wicked relic." And then he throws it into the whirlpool, and boom, there goes, and there's the treasure. And down at the bottom of that whirlpool, there's the treasure that Scrooge was looking for. The end. Now, it's a nice story. I really enjoyed reading it. It's a nice story. Well plotted, well paced. Don Rosa is master at this. In my personal opinion, he may be better than Carl Barks. I definitely like his artwork better than Carl Barks, and Barks is no slouch. I tell you. So, but here I wanted to show you a little bit of this. Here is this is again Don Rosa. This is getting a little long here, but I want to show you this. Look, great detail in here. He did Donald Duck story. If I can get it open, let's see. I can just spot it. It's all the detail and beautiful line work. Detail and line work. These are the stories that I really like. Uncle Scrooge story from 1885. Here he is in armor in a castle. I forgot how the story goes. But when he's a young man, he's returned to Scotland. Maybe he hasn't left Scotland yet. I don't know. It's a story about a haunted castle. This looks like this book got some water damage. Just look at that beautiful artwork. Beautiful artwork. And then this in here. Where is it? Yeah, no. Oh, this one right in front of me. Vigilante of Pizen Bluff. It's out in the Badlands, Wild West. Again. And his money bin. Look at all the detail, all those coins. Even in that book, the detail in that pages in that book. It's just beautiful. His work is just beautiful. His writing, I don't know. Ha! Buffalo Bill. Buck McDuck. Cool. Look at the detail in that figure right there. Obviously Buffalo Bill, even though he's a dog. One of the other stories that I don't have here, he meets up with Teddy Roosevelt, and they just about go to blows. And it's easily recognizable as Teddy Roosevelt, even though he's a dog. Annie Oakley. You can tell. Look at that figure, poor Indian figure. It's great. That's it. That's all I can do about that. And that's all I have to say about Don Rosa, the great Don Rosa. I just love his work. I can't say enough good about him. This is running long. But please like, share, and subscribe. And